Hi, we are in section 1 technologies, uh, 3.1 PPPoE. Okay, we have to configure PPPoE connection between R1 and R3. This is our topology and this is R1 and R3. Okay, we have to configure we have to establish PPPoE session over this interface 1.30. Let's see. This is the interface here. We have to configure R3 as server and R1 as client. This is server and this is client. R1 is client. Okay, let's see interfaces. Show IP interface brief. This interface we have IP address of 100, 130 and 3 and 100, 130 and 14 R1. And we have to leave this IPv6 addresses intact on these interfaces. Okay. Oh, okay. For PPPoE interfaces for server, we have virtual template. This interface is virtual for server, and for client we have dialer interface. Dialer interface for client and virtual template for server. Okay, let's see what we have to do. For configuring PPPoE, this is client. For configuring PPPoE connection, we have client and server. We can configure client with IP address negotiated or configure it as static. Let's explain negotiated one and we'll explain static one. In this topology, in here we have to configure a static one, not negotiated one. Okay, let's see how we can configure negotiated one. For negotiated one, we have to configure our interface dialer X. This is for example 13 on client and encapsulation PPP. IP address negotiated, and this is PPP authentication and dialer pool while the dialer pool should be same as this PPPoE client dialer pool number on the interface level, physical interface level. If this is 30, this is 15, this should be 15 either. And on the physical interface, we have to remove IP addresses and enable PPPoE enable, and configure PPPoE client dial pool number as the same as this one. This configuration is for client side with negotiated, and on the server we have to use BBA group PPPoE. For example, this is profile, or we can configure as global. This is global in profile, or our favorite group global profile name. For example, what profile name, whatever profile name we should configure here. And then virtual template, for example, 30. And on the interface virtual template, because we have configured negotiated here for client, we have to use IP local pool and P default IP address pool. On the static configuration, we don't have to use these commands. These commands are for negotiated. This is where it is for negotiated one. And then we have to use the interpret virtual template, IP address of virtual IP template. This is same as local pool, same range as local pool. This is IP local pool. For example, these two ranges should be the same. Or we can use single address for this local pool. And after configuring BBA group virtual template, interpret virtual template, IP address of interpret virtual template, then P default pool. This name should be the same as IP local pool. We have to come IP local pool ranges, and on the physical interface we have to enable this PPPoE group. This is the same as this BBA group. BBA group PPPoE should be same as this command on the physical interface. Okay, this configuration is for negotiated one. We can configure PPPoE without negotiated command either. On the PPPoE client side, we configure interface dialer X. This is virtual interface, for example 30, and enable encapsulate PPP, then configure static IP address. For example, this one we have here. This is for client. This one. R1 should be client. So R1 should be client. This is the same as client. IPMTU and dialer pool Y. This should be the same as this number we have on the physical interface. Dialer pool 1, then interface. This is the interface here, for example, this one. Interface. No IP address. PPPoE enable and PPPoE client dial pool number, same as this number. Okay, this is client side configuration. On the server side, we have BBA group, PPPoE. We can use global or whatever name we can configure. Then virtual template. Then interface virtual template and IP address of interface virtual template. This should be the same range as dialer IP address range. For example, on the client we have 101.13.1. on the server, R3 server, IP address is 101.13.3. We should configure 33 here. And PPP default IP address pool. Okay, we don't have to use this command. This is okay. For static one, we don't have these two commands. Local pool and p default IP address. We don't have these two commands. Okay, on the server we have BBL group without template, interface without template, IP address of static, and on the physical interfaces we have to remove IP address and set group, enable group as the same as BBL group name. Okay, this configuration is for negotiated and this is for without negotiated configuration. Okay, let's configure PPPoE without negotiated command here. R1 is client, config T, interface, this, oops, interface, this one, we have to remove IP address, and we don't have IP address and we have to okay, now let's configure dialer one first. Interface dialer letter thing. Then we have encapsulation PPP. Then IP address. This is our IP address. This is the IP address we had on the physical interface. Now we have it on the virtual interface. We remove that address here. Okay. Now I've got IPMTU 1492. then dial pool 30. Okay, now interface. PPPoE enable. PPPoE client dial pin number. This should be same as dial pool 13. Okay, this is client side. On the server side, let's remove IP address of physical interface first. This is interface, no IP address. Then BBA group, PPPoE. We can use global or BBA group name. Let's use global here, global. Then virtual template. This is we use 13. Then interface virtual template 13. IP address of physical interface. We have just removed it. This should be the same range as dialer. We had 3. Yeah, this is the same. 133. This address. And on the physical interface, we have to enable PPPoE. Enable group, because we have used a group, global group for BBA group. I should use the same global group here on the physical interface. Okay. Show IP interface brief. Okay, now verify PPPoE session. show PPPoE session. Okay, we have up for this physical interface. Show PPPoE session up. Show PPP all command. Local IPA and show PPP all. Let's ping. One hundred, 131. Okay, we have connectivity over PPP. Show PPPoE summary. We have one client session. PPPoE summary. This interface is here. Local determined session. All other session in the transit state and forwarded session. And show PPPoE. Statistics. Okay. Okay, let's review what we have just did. Okay, for client, I have conquered the interface dialer, and for server side, I have conquered with a template on the BBL group. Then removed physical interface and added it on the virtual template. Same for client. Removed physical interface and added this physical removed IP address of physical interface and added it on the dial interface. This is here. Then dial pool number, then and on the physical with a PPP client with the same dial pool number. On the server side, the same. On the physical interface, I have configured global. For BBA group, I have used the same global command. This is PPPoE without negotiated configuration. But for negotiated configuration, we have to use IP local pool and P default IP address pool on the server configuration. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for viewing.